Good morning. I'm Christina Thompson.
He can't give us the numbers just yet, but they did see more voter turnout during this election than they saw in the 2016 Democratic primary. While her car was on fire, she was rescuing all of that mail that you saw in the roadways from that car. Again, is where the choppers. Oh, if you point our camera up, I think we can see it. Just now, it's overhead. We're going to try to get you a shot of that chopper right now as we continue in this search for Michael Brown. Again, he is the man wanted for murder. I had packed up my snow boots for the winter thinking that we were getting spring weather. Obviously, I was very wrong, but at least they're getting some love now. Check it out. If you look down at them, you can see the snow is already starting to accumulate. I want to bring your attention to some rising water levels throughout Lynchburg. This is the creek that's just off of Sandusky Drive, and now I was going to step in it to show you just how deep it is. I'm really glad I tested it with this tree branch first because, as you can see, that goes really far down. That's got to be about 2.5 feet. Well, take a look behind me. This is the National Guard. It's one of their high water trucks that's just about to take off once again and get some of these people who are trapped in their hotel rooms because of the rising floodwaters out of their hotel rooms. If you take a look at just how high the Roanoke River has risen, it's just, you can see it's at the door level right now. And these people that the National Guard has been called in to help, they're ones that are stuck inside their hotel rooms. They can't get out because they would have to wade through the water, which, as we know, is extremely dangerous because this water is coming from the Roanoke River and it could be rushing water and they could be swept away. With the water rising, rescuers found themselves in a race against time. The goal, to reach all 115 people and 10 animals trapped in the Ramada Hotel and get them to safety. Water surrounded the entire building.
She had to leave, period, out the door.
Disco Walter was one of the evacuees.
The military vehicles, they were cutting the water pretty good, but it was tough. I mean, and the water rose really fast.
It's a good 8 feet deep.
It was a little scary, yeah.
Some of the evacuees fell into more vulnerable categories, like at risk for contracting the coronavirus or homeless. Crystal Marston ended up here because her home had already flooded.
The walkway was much slicker with the moving water. It was kind of rough.
The pandemic made things tricky for first responders. They had to abide by social distancing guidelines, so they had to take fewer people per load.
When it floods like this, we don't want to risk anybody at all walking or wading through the water.
Within 3 hours, rescuers had everyone on dry land, aboard buses, and ready to head to safer surroundings. The main goal here is just for these people to be out of their hotel rooms and to safety as quickly as possible. You can hear that the horn just went off on that truck behind me. They're getting ready to go get another load of people. They're getting people out and getting them to safety. Live in Roanoke, Christina Thompson, ABC 13 News. As the number of coronavirus cases continue to rise in Virginia, Liberty University welcomed back students from spring break. LU is allowing all who wish to remain on campus to finish online courses for the rest of the semester to do so.
I got back about a week ago from spring break.
Andrew Marsh is a senior at LU. He's planning to finish out the semester at his house in Lynchburg and not return to campus.
I think it's a little bit irresponsible for the school to allow students to come back.
The university's decision is also troubling to Lynchburg Mayor Trenae Tweedy. She worries the return of students will contribute to the spread of the virus. Mayor Tweedy also says Liberty University's president, Jerry Falwell Jr., did not disclose all facets of LU's decision to the city in advance. Just to be clear, you stated that you were unaware of Liberty's plans to allow all students back on campus.
Correct, all students. We had been told by President Falwell that there were some students, international students, for example, but it was a different story when we were told today about the release and the statements that all campus students were invited to come back.
But President Falwell maintains the city knew of his plans beforehand and that they aren't the only school with students still living on campus.
Liberty has a larger number because we're a bigger school. And so that's a cheap shot. And she knows better than that.
Falwell claims fewer than 10% of students have returned, although all students were invited back. Those students are mostly international students and students with extenuating circumstances. Based off the comments on our WSET 13 Facebook page, the public has many questions about what exactly happened during the DUI traffic stop involving State Delegate Chris Hurst.
You're over the legal limit. Take care.
Questions like, why did the officer let them drive away? Did they actually go to Walmart like the officer asked? And why are legislators immune to arrest for most infractions? So I drove to Christiansburg to spend the day trying to answer those questions for you. First stop, the police department, to ask the police chief if the lieutenant conducting the traffic stop followed proper procedure.
Hi, can I help you?
Hey, yeah, I work with ABC 13 News. The police chief refused an on-camera interview, but a representative did come out to speak with us, saying all our questions will be answered in an official statement. The public is just like genuinely very curious and has a lot of questions.
Yeah, and I hope our statement will hopefully explain why.
None of our questions were answered in that statement. It only addressed the department conducting an internal investigation and reviewing DUI policies. So I sent an additional email asking if it was safe to let them drive, if the officer followed proper protocol, and why didn't the officer wait with them or follow them to Walmart. Only the protocol was explained in response, that delegates may be summoned but not arrested. The department did release the text between Lieutenant Steven Swecker and his supervisor. In it, we read Lieutenant Swecker recognized Hurst during the traffic stop, but did not expect any media attention to come from it. Swecker's supervisor then references Virginia state law that prohibits officers from charging state legislators while the General Assembly is in session. Lieutenant Swecker's supervisor tells him he did a good job.
Would you go to Walmart parking lot and hang out for 30 minutes?
Did y'all ever check the surveillance footage at the Walmart to make sure that Hurst actually went when he said he would?
Not either.
Next, we tried Christiansburg Town Hall, preferably the mayor, a councilman, or the manager who can do an interview about the Chris Hurst traffic stop.
We're not doing any on-camera interviews.
They all know, right, that there's been lots of questions from the people in the public having very specific things they want answered. Okay. Governor Ralph Northam did not hold his press conference today to update everyone on Virginia's response to the coronavirus. Instead, it will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. He's expected to talk about a potential statewide mask policy, something he said he was working through the weekend to create. Starting today, the Virginia Department of Health will expand the data they release to you on their website daily. We can now track the number of cases, hospitalization, and fatalities by locality. This is just a shocking case out of Texas. A mother and her newborn daughter vanished more than a week ago. Tonight, Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the Trump administration have reached an agreement on a second federal spending package dealing with the coronavirus and its impacts. A local family is desperately looking for answers and justice after the shooting death of 26-year-old Christopher Tench on Monday. The Danville Fire Department has determined a cause of the structure fire earlier tonight. Thieves aren't just stealing your money. The prosecutor in this report said they figured out how to take the title to your home.